Revenge films.
My name is Sarah. 5 years ago, I discovered that my husband was having an affair and we got a divorce. And I became a single mother when my daughter Sally was still 1 year old. And I was working full-time while raising a child. In order to raise my 6-year-old daughter by myself as a divorced woman, I started working at an SME as a full-time employee. And every day, my life was very busy. My daughter was born with an illness, and she had often been in and out of the hospital throughout her life, so I needed the money to pay the hospital bills. That's why I put my blood, sweat, and tears into my work, and I was promoted. And with the support of my parents back home, I was working and raising my daughter, and I did everything that I could to support my daughter with her illness. However, there was one thing that was troubling me. That was that the managers at my office told me that I didn't know my place getting promoted as a woman, and I was being harassed every single day. I was on the verge of a mental breakdown from the stress. However, for the money for my daughter, I tolerated it, and I just focused on getting my work done and was taking the harassment every single day. As a result, I got more and more clients, and I had the highest performance in the department. I felt like all of my hard work until now was being acknowledged, and my motivation towards my job only increased. I continued to focus only on getting promoted again, and I was putting my all into work, when one day I got a call from the hospital that my daughter's health had suddenly declined, and I rushed to the hospital as fast as I could. I could tell in one glance that my daughter's situation was far worse than it was when I saw her the day before. By the time I got there, she was already weak, and even though she was conscious, she started responding less and less when I called out to her, and eventually she lost consciousness. By the next day, my daughter had passed. After losing my daughter at the young age of 6, I was at the pit bottom of devastation, and every day I was drowning myself in tears. I was so overwhelmed with sadness that I had taken some time off of work, but I didn't want to make my daughter worry from heaven, and I knew that I needed to hurry up and get my life back somehow, so I worked hard to change my mindset. After some time, I was able to regain my physical and mental health, and when I thought I recovered, I went back to work. But my colleagues and my team were all treating me like an open wound, and I felt uncomfortable being in the office. On the lunch break of the day that I came back to the office, I was called out by my manager and boss, and I was lectured for hours about the reason why I had taken so much time off of work.
You're a salary thief for taking so many days off when you had just been promoted, you woman with no manners!
It's just as the boss says. Just because your daughter's dead doesn't mean you can go around trying to get everybody's sympathy. You need to apologize for taking those days off.
It is so wrong to take time off of work when your family member has passed away?
Don't talk back to me! As a punishment, you're going to be working overtime every single day, starting today. And you're going to work the amount that you took off before you go home.
Boss, why don't we leave our work with this woman so that we can go drinking? We haven't been able to go drinking lately because she took those days off. So of course, this is only obvious.
That's true. Hey, you need to prepare these materials too. If you don't finish them by tomorrow, we're not going to let you get away with it for nothing.
Even if it takes you all night, you better finish them. Do you understand?
This is too much!
This is your punishment for taking time off. You better finish it all!
From there, the harassment from my managers escalated and became even worse than before. Every single day, they were dumping more and more work on me. I was spending these hellish days, and eventually it was the day before my daughter's memorial service. The next day, because I had such an important matter, I was rushing so that I could finish my work and go home early. But then my boss came over to my desk.
I heard you're taking tomorrow off again for some family matter. My goodness! Your habit of being lazy amazes me!
I'm not being lazy, it's my daughter's memorial service.
It's already that time, huh? Even still, you really are a good-for-nothing woman. That you can't even give birth to one daughter with a healthy body.
That's enough already.
How unlucky could she be that her father ran away and she was already sad? But then she had to die due to illness. It really makes me cry. Are you sure you're feeling the responsibility for it?
What would you know about any of this? You don't even know anything, so please stop saying whatever you want about it.
Excuse me? Who do you think you are? All you do is think about whatever excuses you can to take time off of work. I've never met someone so pathetic. Your daughter is dead already, so you can work more overtime, can't you?
I had finally lost to my boss's completely heartless words, and I let loose on everything that I had been holding in until then. That's enough already. It's amazing that you can say such awful things after using people however you want, even when I'm going through such a difficult time. Do you not have this thing called humanity? I am going to be quitting a company like this right now, and I will never come back to this place ever again. I said that I was quitting, and I flew out of the office. I went outside to cool my head, and once I regained my composure, I went around to the clients that had been good to me and paid my respects. And then, after every single company, they said that they were disappointed to see me go, and I realized that just how much my work ethic until now had been recognized. And then, amongst my clients, when I went to go greet the biggest company out of them all, the CEO said that he wanted me to tell him the details of why I was quitting. As I was speaking to him, the tears started overflowing, and when I explained all the harassment I received until now, the CEO said the most shocking words.
Is that so? That must have been hard. Well, I want to talk to you about something. But how would you like to come to our company?
What? But what do you mean by that?
I'm asking you if you'd like to work full-time here. I've seen just how hard you work since the first day you came here, and I've been wanting to bring you over.
Thank you very much. And so, on the day that I decided to resign from my company, I was already given a contract from an even bigger company, and with the advice from my new company CEO, I decided to sue my former bosses. The CEO introduced me to a top-class lawyer who took my side, and I was paid a full settlement fee from both of them. My former boss's harassment was discovered by their company, and apparently they were given a salary deduction. After that, around the time I was starting to get used to my job in my new company, my harassing boss from my previous company came for a business meeting, and I saw him for the first time in a long time. Compared to before, the boss seemed a little bit tired. Not knowing anything, I sat down in front of him right next to the CEO, and when he saw me, my former boss seemed very surprised.
What the hell are you doing here? Even though you quit your job, what's going on that you're here at our client's place?
Long time no see, sir.
I was the one that brought Sarah here myself. More importantly, you think that it's okay for you to speak like that to one of our company's employees?
If you brought her here, are you telling me that this woman is working at this company now?
That would be correct.
That's outrageous! There's no way that someone like you should be working at a company this major!
At your company, not only did you force Sarah to work overtime right after she had just lost her daughter, but you also threw horrible words at her and really made her suffer.
No way. Sarah, I'll apologize about that. As you can see, I'm sorry. So please, will you please convince your CEO somehow? Please!
When the CEO said that he was still going to cancel the contract, the boss suddenly got down onto his knees.
Ever since you quit, there's been an endless number of companies that are canceling their contracts with us. Thanks to that, our company's in a huge deficit.
As he said that, he crumbled down to the floor, but I left him behind as I walked out of the room for my CEO's orders. The CEO officially renounced the contract, and my former boss was kicked out of the company. After that, that boss never showed his face at our office again, and a few months later, the company went bankrupt. The harassing managers had not only had to pay the settlement fee to me, they had their salaries reduced, so they no longer had any money. And after the company went bankrupt, I heard they were all struggling to make ends meet. My former boss lost his job just before retirement, so his wife and child left him and he was divorced. He was no longer able to pay the loan on his house, and he had no choice but to put his place up for sale. According to the rumor, I heard he moved into a tiny old apartment after that, but he couldn't find another job and was no longer able to pay rent. And after missing too many payments and getting kicked out, I heard that he's currently homeless and unemployed. As for me, my hard work has been acknowledged at my new company, and I was promoted again and increased my salary. There are no bosses here who harass me, and it's a really great environment, and I have been able to work comfortably. I was finally able to get back on my feet from the sadness of losing my daughter, and I was able to find a new purpose in life through my work. And now, I'm gonna continue working hard for the CEO that brought me here, and for my daughter up in heaven.
How was today's video? If you enjoyed it, please subscribe, like, and leave a comment. Stay tuned for more.